Mr. Tech Tony is back on Rethink Real Estate. And today what we're going to be going through is the transition from Tony going from a marketing company that him and Courtney were using that was very, very expensive on a per listing and per month basis, now to doing the automated process through AI and some of the other plugins that he's had. I think that this is a really good opportunity to understand that AI can't do everything end to end just yet. This is an opportunity for it to, do a certain amount that then you can use in order to automate your own things. Now, again, Tony and Courtney were paying a significant amount, as you'll hear, per month and per listing that they were getting. And this is a really awesome opportunity to understand how AI can help automate some things, plug it into a certain product that then pushes it out from a social awareness perspective to keep it consistent. That's one of the key parts that he goes through. But hopefully it helps and hopefully you can get a little bit out of it. Thank you. Welcome to Rethink Real Estate. My name is Ben Brady, and this is a real estate podcast aimed to deliver sales strategies, marketing tips, and business insights from industry experts and myself to build a listing-focused business for the future. Let's get into it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Tech Tony.
Howdy. Good afternoon.
Wait,
good morning. Who knows where you're at right now?
Who knows? It's funny. It's one of those things like doing a podcast and you listen to other people's podcasts and you're like, when you've got somebody on or the person's interviewing someone and they say something that's like really specific, it's like, fuck, really? Don't do that.
Today's date is. Yeah.
That's right. Content has to last forever, Tony.
Yes, Evergreen.
There you go. So speaking of content, let's talk content and dive straight into this. Is that you mentioned on a previous podcast that we were on, is that you and Courtney were, as agents, you had a program that you would subscribe to, which is a service called Fusion.
Yes.
And basically what they do for you is do all the automated stuff from a social media perspective, correct?
And a little bit more, but that's a lot of it's marketing. Yeah, a big part of it's marketing.
Great. So then you went out to a challenge because, let's face it, it's pretty expensive. Like you guys were paying like up to $900 a transaction or something like that. It was pretty.
Oh, way north of that. But
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, a lot. So
Yes.
so then the thing that you did is you went on a quest to use the AI services and the plugins and everything that ultimately there is available to you at the moment in order to try and automate your own sort of marketing side of the business. Now, there's a level of complexity that you've probably gone to that most of the people that are listening is going to be way, way over their head, but hopefully they'll be able to pluck out some stuff as we go through.
True.
But can I ask, first and foremost, can we just go through what Fusion did for you and what you found valuable that they did that you wanted to try and duplicate?
Right. So one thing that a lot of agents don't do, and that's is consistent marketing. So you need to make sure you have, all the key things out there. So email, your flyers, that type of stuff. So when we joined up with them, this was a few years ago, believe it or not, the AI was in its infancy stages. So a lot of what and it was there, I was getting on board with it, but I really didn't get on board about a year ago. And that we were trying to figure out, like, what's changed? What's changed is that AI has become so, it's just amazing what it can generate. And then all the marketing people that I talk to, AI agencies and whatnot, they're also using AI in everything that they do. And you're starting to see, not the need of these assistants worldwide. They do marketing assistants and it basically can do all that. So when we first joined them, that didn't exist. And
Right.
then with a short time frame, all of a sudden now it's a thing. And then with my skill set, I'm thinking, you know what, I can do it better and cheaper and, really accommodate everything that we need to have done for our business, for my wife and what we do in terms of that. And one thing I did discover is that what they're offering, it was really like kind of the table stakes, just basic foundational type stuff. So we had disagreements in terms of, okay, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to do a blog. And they were, again, this is what they offer. So now taking it back, we can customize it, but that's also a bad thing because when you customize it, you don't do anything. Courtney has my wife, my partner, love of my life, 30 years in August, by the way.
Well,
marriage. I know, crazy.
I want to make you feel old. I'm 36, just so you know.
I know. You're a little baby. So she kept saying it's not about perfection, it's about progress. So you have to make sure if you do take this, you got to have a plan. And I sat down and I sketched out all of these websites that we have. I have like 100 URLs. And then, okay, and then we have these different hats we're wearing, right? So
Mm.
from real estate, we have a real estate website, and my wife and I, we work together. I have my income property website. We have an auction stuff we're going to also bring on board. We're doing a foreclosure auction, by the way, which is amazing. I'm
Yeah,
learning
right.
so much.
Right.
And then we have the technology stuff. So I had 4 distinct channels that I'm trying to, and it was very complex. All of them have Facebook pages. It almost was, I sat there, it took me an hour and a half just to map it out.
Right.
And what I did is I mapped out all the URLs, where it's going to go. That's the most important thing, is to know where your media is going to be at. Instagram, Facebook. In real estate, I recommend you go where the old people are at. Facebook. Instagram is okay, but we're not here to be models. We're not here about like influencers or YouTube stars. I'm here to sell real estate.
Yep.
So where my audience is going to be, it's going to be in Facebook. Some will be in Instagram, but I'm going to focus more on Facebook. And then if you can do Google AdWords on top of that, and you can then boost up the items, that's a whole different subject. You just got to have the content first. And with this day and age and the way ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok can create content, there's no reason not. But there's a very important thing you got to do, though, where a lot of people make the mistake. You can't trust the AI to do this on autopilot.
Yeah.
So
there's got to be a filter process that it comes through for your approval.
We call it human in the middle. That's the technical term in the AI agency space.
So can I ask some practical questions though?
Sure.
If let's talk about the functionality of Fusion first and foremost, of what they did for you. What were the standardized stuff that they did? They post on your page when it came to when the property was listed. They posted a just sold. They posted a testimonial. They did flyers for you. Maybe what was the stuff they did per listing?
Think of them. They're a marketing partner, so they helped us market what needs to be. So in both from posting, both from marketing pieces, creating a brand identity, a voice, doing the things that strong agents should do. And there's a lot of things there that we don't have now that we have to figure out. Okay, is that needed?
Yeah.
Is there an ROI on that as well? They put spend against it with CMAs. So there's a lot that they were a partner a lot of ways in kind of how you approach it.
Right. And then when you transitioned across though, Tony, what was the stuff that you've been able so far to duplicate?
So the content has been the one thing. So Canva also has exponentially increased in terms of usability. I mean, Canva is like the thing. I mean, just with the brokerage, what we have through Harcourts, having the templates available, we print everything through Canva. Exactly. And you can drop PDF documents into a Canva space, and if it's been outputted by a device, and it will replicate it. I mean, when I do mostly income property and auctions, and the memorandum that you would have for these income properties used to be one of these things that was tough to do. Only the big houses had them, and now you just find what you like, you drop it into Canva, and you start pasting and replacing stuff and adding your content, and you look like a big commercial house. That was one of the hardest things to do. And you'd have staff, they'd be marketing. I remember when I was a commercial title rep many, many, many years ago. And I'd work with the commercial people, and they would have their marketing department. They say, oh, we'll do this for you. Yep. Now all that stuff you can do yourself. Now the thing is that, okay, what's going to be good for your time? Because again, you shouldn't be there at the desk on Canva doing this. In real estate, you should be out there, shaking hand and kissing babies, right?
Right. That's right.
So I do this at night, so I don't sleep much. I'm at about 6 hours right now. I don't sleep a lot.
You're a bit of a night owl. There's no doubt about it. So now what have you got set up, and how have you set it up from a trigger perspective? So you got I understand there's obviously brand identity. There's the wider scape stuff that is more so the communication plan for your brand. But let's talk practical. You bring on a listing.
Sure.
What have you been able to replicate, and what have you been able to do using what in order to bring it to you automatically?
So those are two different triggers. So if you're talking about a trigger of a listing trigger, listing trigger basically, so we have right now, we've always had Hootsuite. So Hootsuite is something everyone can subscribe to. It's very expensive. But what's nice about Hootsuite is the biggest issue is trying to get all of your channels authenticated, meaning that you have one channel, one source.
So Hootsuite, you plug Facebook or YouTube or all of the stuff in, is that right?
You do. So it happens, and that's like the best of breed, and it's also expensive. But that one, you go in there, you give them your access to your Facebook account, just exactly the same thing that I was doing with Fusion. You
Yep.
get them access to your Google account, you get them access to your YouTube account, your
Yep.
Twitter, your X account, and then you then post there, and you can schedule postings, and then that's where we've been able to replicate that very easily from a listing or an update on a listing kind of standpoint, and it's all
Right.
connected to our we have 15 social sites just between
Okay.
Courtney and I,
Okay.
which is dumb. I think in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was about to say that is ridiculous, but anyway.
It is, right? But you look at all the social sites. I haven't even like ventured into Threads. I haven't ventured into Blue
Yeah, but I
Sky,
think,
all that stuff.
but there's an episode that airs shortly with Chris and I that we talk about niche marketing there, Tony. So at the end of the day, you guys are doing your little niches. I understand that, and having individual pages and whatever it is. So because I'm trying to make sure that I can visualize this, as you've got Hootsuite, okay, where you've plugged in your
For listing, listing
Yep.
triggers, right? Yeah,
Yep, that's right. And then so within Hootsuite, you've got your social and your avenues of how it distributes, but does it have an internal, like, for marketing? Like, is that where you plug in your Canva accounts and everything like that as well? Or
you will usually take the Canva template. You're using the Hootsuite template, but you can use Canva as your template to put it in there. So the generation of the content of the post. So that's where the AI has happened. So what's nice about it is if you were to log into ChatGPT, log into Claude, log in all the different engines, you just put in what you want. It's okay, advertise this, and then it will come back with a social post with tons of emojis. You can do anything you want.
Okay.
The smarter people, what they'll do is they'll take posts that they've done previously, and they'll train the engines with some context, some background, so it has your what you use and how your tone goes in there, your color schematics, all that kind of stuff. So you can set it all up. And with ChatGPT, there's two. The harder way was using a GPT, which I've done, and that's a bit more involved. But they've just released it where they have project folders, and we talked about project folders beforehand. So you can do the same thing of giving it samples, taking or borrowing. I'm not going to say take, but borrow others from different areas. I like the way this looks. I like the format. I like the way that they actually say about just listed, just sold, or this is a top person, and emulate that. And then what it'll do is it'll take that, because the way these chats work the best is not absent any examples. The best prompters will prompt the hell out of it. And there's a lot of prompting you have to do, meaning that you're asking the machine these questions. And what I do is, like, you have to give it context. You give it examples, context, and then that project folder, you then say, okay, then you give it, like, here's a system message of what you're going to be. You're a social media maven that loves real estate.
So you wouldn't. So it's not a matter of creating a project per listing. It's a matter of creating a project folder for an actual process itself.
I would say you would have a project folder. You probably would have it for Facebook, because they're different. For Instagram, LinkedIn, completely. Whenever the audiences are different, because Instagram and Facebook are the same. So you could probably put them on
Meta. So Meta's the same.
But one is more image focused versus text. Even Facebook, to a certain extent, people don't read anymore. They don't read at all. Especially realtors. There's a thing. Realtors don't read.
No question.
Yeah. But LinkedIn is a professional audience. And a lot of agents are afraid of LinkedIn for whatever reason. That's where all the professionals are at.
Yep.
But you can't put the Facebook and the little weird realtor stuff that, my dog's, this and that, or things I've seen, or the, God forbid, the bathing suit pictures that I see sometimes.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, I know. So LinkedIn is a professional, you want to make sure. So you could train a little folder that says it's a professional. Here's, this is what I'm trying, tone of voice, and it will do that. And that's what I've created. I have AI bots in all the engines that I create that are experts in the different social media channels and apps in LinkedIn.
So can we talk about prompting these things though, Tony? Like, so let's say that I go to ChatGPT, I create a folder, I create it for the meta suites of things or whatever it looks like.
Instagram, Facebook.
Instagram, Facebook. So then, as far as that's concerned, what are the things that I need to do in order to get that individual project folder up to scratch with a process that I want? Is that asking prompting questions along the lines of, can you have a look at realtors in this location, top performers that do social? Okay, give me an analysis on what they actually post and how often they're posting and what exactly they're posting. Like, can you ask it things like these and then go and then build that into your own process and then build that even further again?
So you could. I think so. I'm kind of like a digital squirrel. I like to collect things that I like, and I put them in a folder.
Yep.
And you
You
take
like
those.
save it on Instagram or whatever it is. Yeah.
I don't save it on Instagram. I'm old school. You should see my folder. Very organized, but I got gigabytes of examples that I just
Okay.
save. If I see a PDF I like, I take that PDF because you don't know if it's going to be there.
Yep.
So if I see something I like, something that resonates with me,
Yep.
I'll take that. And then what you also do is you go to the source or go like, okay, there's a ton of websites that will walk you through. Like this is best way to. I'm a millionaire real estate agent. And this is how I do Facebook. You can then take that transcript from YouTube, create a text doc, and drop it in there, or have
Right.
ChatGPT
For
say,
it to,
"Great."
got it. So for it to learn, so like you can take like an educational video on the process of what you should be doing from a social perspective and take that context, drop it in there and ask it. Do you ask it, can you please learn from this? Or like, what do you ask it?
So there's two ways to do it. One is that you have the project folders that you keep in there, just like when I do my health stuff. Anything that's of a good example or of information, I save it in the files. You add files for it to search and use its foundation. And then the system message is basically you're programming the AI to take on a persona. It's like, you are a snippy little social person, or I'm a Beverly Hills agent, and we're the best in the world, and no one can even come close to Beverly Hills. That kind of stuff. Or this person's really, really successful.
You're giving it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That will set you apart from others, and then also find others that are doing quite well. Actual people that sell, by the way, not those that think they're. Because again, some people want to be like. It's really sad. A lot of people want to be YouTube stars, and I've actually met YouTube stars. It's hard work. It's not as easy as you think, and it's like.
And also, and not to mention as well as I do believe that the YouTube side of things is then again, this isn't a bad thing, but it's also geared towards. I've only ever seen it work incredibly well. Don't get me wrong, there's some social presence and all that type of stuff for listings, but it really works well from a buyer standpoint that if you're in a marketplace where a lot of people are moving inbound, that is where I've seen it work incredibly well. Like if someone's moving to Central Oregon, for example, and you do schools and you do restaurants and you do all of that type of stuff, you become sort of a voice of that individual marketplace itself. Right. Now, can I ask though, Tony, like just from a process perspective, what you're doing, you've created sort of, so then once you've educated your GPT or your project folder or whatever, I'm using the wrong terms, okay, is that then you ask it, you say, I've got a listing at 123 Smith Street, here are the photos, here is everything, can you please create the marketing suite for me? Then you take that marketing suite and then you put it into Hootsuite, is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Or you can just, from there, you can just go on your phone and just post it to Facebook or Instagram if you're right there and then.
Right.
What's nice about Hootsuite is it's all connected to everything. We have a marketing admin that we just give her the information. She puts in there a template. She gets it going. But a lot of times there's no reason why you can just take that and make it work. And surprisingly, Facebook is amazing at ChatGPT at making the images. You can drop these images in there and you have to read the text. And then one thing that we do require our agents, we do have an AI policy to make sure you read everything. That it is also, it's not going to get flagged because again, and if it is a real estate thing, you got to make sure you put your DRE number or your real estate number, at least in California. Pretty sure it's like that most elsewhere. It's
most places, safe
to do that.
Yeah, it's always safe.
It does a great job with images. It's amazing. So it will take care of all the work. I've created some GPTs for some of my agents where it actually pulls from an RSS feed or real simple syndication from real estate information. You click the button, give me today's articles, gives you the articles. You go in there, you guys can make a Facebook post, they can edit it. And then I have it set up where it's connected to, for me, it's connected to my Facebook. So it posts and it just does it automatically.
Oh, wow. Okay. So there is that opportunity that you can get it to pull information and then push to your social post. Is that correct?
That is where it has somebody with my skill set or Calissa's skill set.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we'll pause on that part. Okay, guys, let's not dive into that too deeply. Now, Tony, just obviously as we start to wrap up here, what are the aspirations for what you can turn this into? Like, I know that the sky is the limit at the moment, but realistically, what do you want it to do? Like, what is the one single prompt that ultimately you want to be able to give it for a listing? Okay. And then do what is the one single prompt is that you want to be able to give it for all of the content from a social perspective? Like, so like if you set up a content calendar for a month, an ideal monthly content calendar, could it ultimately eventually get to the point where it's basically on autopilot doing that for you every month?
It could. So there's two approaches to it, and the one approach you just described is someone when you have them do content for you. So evergreen content, kind of the basics. Like if you're the local real estate expert, make sure you have all the information in and around your area that you sell. The unique aspects of where you live. So in our area we have really cool. We have Terranea. So there's like little unknown like things you would know when you're speaking to a buyer or to a seller. They just know your stuff.
Yep.
That's the table stakes. Now, my approach, and I think this is where is the best way, is as a real estate professional, when I see articles, I get a ton of information, a lot of emails sent to me. I'm reading a lot of different articles. I'll pick up on things, especially because I do a lot of income property, of changes, unique changes in there. So I will pin those or save those email articles, and that's what I use as my content to drive the thing. And what I'm doing, where we're approaching it now, is I'm having it draft a very detailed, unique blog article, and from that blog, it's then creating my social media from there. And then I'm going to start adding probably more video. I'm going to do more video just because I feel that that's where I need to be next. But that's my approach. And there's, like I was saying, you got the different triggers. You get the listing trigger. You got the evergreen content trigger of other items, and you can put that on content. And then also, as a professional, you're seeing stuff all the time. You're going to meetings. You're getting this information. There's a new law coming out, things that your clients want to know because you're the local professional. That's another trigger. I find that trigger more interesting. And I think that one has probably the best option because then people get to see you. You can then create email content around that, but you got to start somewhere. So, and the thing is it's such a big deal. That's why you got to at least do something. And if anything, just make sure that, okay, I am going to post once a week to all the channels.
Yeah.
And keep with that for 3 months at least.
I think that even like, as you mentioned, like one of the easiest ones to do is get sources of real estate information for that local marketplace and get it to put it into a Facebook post and just put one of those up a week.
Right. Rather than doing the other kind of dumb stuff that I see all the time. I know it, again, I'm old. And I just sell. That's all I do. And my clients work with me because I know what I'm doing. I can sit down and I can talk about real estate for hours. I can clear out a room. Whenever we get the real estate people together, we can clear out all the family members when we talk about real estate. But that's why they hire you, is that you have this knowledge. And especially with certain phases of real estate, it's so unique. I would never do industrial. I could, but I don't know it well enough. That's a commercial agent. That's why commercial agents shouldn't do residential and vice versa. Residential shouldn't do commercial unless you're actually knowledgeable in that space. And there's so much, especially in California, there is so much there that you have to know.
Yeah.
That information I find is a good trigger. That's what's interesting. But that's kind of the focus right now, is to kind of get that information out there.
Well, Tony, thank you again for sharing the process. Really appreciate you navigating us through this technology world.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on.
So about 75% of our audience hasn't liked, followed, or subscribed to our podcast. It would mean the world to us, and it would help this podcast more than you know to expand our reach if you were to like, follow, or subscribe on any of the platforms that you're watching or listening on. Thanks again.